I'm still processing this and honestly don't know what to think. My girlfriend Kara and I have been together for 3 years. Things have been mostly good, though lately I've noticed she's been getting more focused on social media and what other people think about our relationship. 2 weeks ago, my mom Linda had what we thought might be a mini stroke. She called me around 6 p.m. on a Friday, confused and slurring her words slightly. I was supposed to take Kara to this new restaurant she'd been excited about, but obviously I dropped everything and drove straight to Mom's house. For context, my mom is basically my hero. She's a retired lawyer who worked her ass off as a single parent after my dad died when I was 12. She put herself through law school while raising me, and never once made me feel like I was holding her back. She's tough as nails, but also the most caring person I know. So when she called sounding scared and confused, nothing else mattered. I called Kara on the way and explained the situation. She seemed understanding at first, said, of course you need to go, and that we could reschedule dinner. I spent that night in the ER with Mom, then the next 2 days helping her get follow-up appointments and making sure she was okay. Turns out it wasn't a stroke, just a medication interaction that caused similar symptoms, but it scared the hell out of both of us. Here's where it gets messy. While I was dealing with all this, Kara posted on Instagram and Facebook about our canceled dinner plans. The posts weren't supportive or understanding. Instead, she wrote something like, when your boyfriend chooses his mom over date night. Red flags anyone. But it gets worse. In the comments, she started responding to friends who were asking what happened. She wrote things like, his mom has a headache and suddenly I don't matter anymore, and some guys never learn to cut the apron strings. One comment really got to me. Someone asked if my mom was okay, and Kara wrote she's fine, just dramatic. Probably wanted attention since Steve's been focusing on me lately. I found out about the posts when my mom's friend Betty showed them to her. Mom saw everything Kara wrote about her being dramatic and attention-seeking, while she was genuinely scared about her health. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Reading Kara's words, I actually had to sit down. I've never seen my mother cry from anger before. She's always been composed, even when dealing with difficult clients or judges. But she was shaking when she showed me the screenshots Betty had taken. I raised you to choose good people, she said. This girl doesn't respect you, me, or your family. She made our private crisis into her public drama. The thing is, Mom's not wrong. I've been thinking about how Kara handles problems. She always posts about our arguments or relationship issues instead of talking to me directly. When we had that fight about moving in together, she posted cryptic quotes about knowing your worth. When I couldn't afford the vacation she wanted, she posted about settling for less than you deserve. I should have seen this pattern earlier, but I guess I made excuses because I care about her. This feels different though. Making fun of my mom's health scare online crosses a line I didn't even know existed. I haven't talked to Kara about this yet. It's not that I didn't want her to take that post down and apologize to my mom immediately, but she's been deliberately ignoring my calls and texts. So she doesn't know that Mom saw the posts. Part of me wants to give her a chance to explain, but honestly, what explanation would make this okay? My girlfriend had taken the worst night my family had experienced in years and turned it into material for social media sympathy. She'd made my mom into the villain of her little online drama. Has anyone else dealt with a partner who handles private stuff by posting about it publicly? I feel like I'm dating someone who treats our relationship like content for her followers. Update 1. Posted 5 days later. Holy shit, guys. I thought the social media drama was bad, but this situation just went nuclear in ways I never expected. First, thank you for all the comments on my last post. The consensus was pretty clear. Someone who publicly mocks your mom's health crisis isn't relationship material. You were right, but I had no idea how right until everything unfolded. So I spent the weekend thinking about how to handle things with Kara. I was planning to have a serious conversation about boundaries and respect, maybe give her one chance to understand why her posts were so hurtful. Then Monday happened. I should mention that my mom isn't just any retired lawyer. She worked for 30 years at one of the bigger firms in our city. She's well connected and still does consulting work. More importantly, she's incredibly methodical when she's angry. I should have remembered that. Monday morning, Mom called me and asked if I could come over. Her tone was calm, which honestly scared me more than if she'd been yelling. When I got there, she had her laptop open and papers spread across the dining room table. "Steve," she said, "I need to ask you something important. How serious are things between you and Kara?" I told her we'd been talking about moving in together, maybe getting engaged in the next year or two. Standard relationship progression stuff. Mom nodded and pulled out a folder. I had Patterson draft some estate planning updates after my health scare. It made me realize I should have everything in order. Patterson is her old law partner, and he's been handling her legal stuff for years. She showed me the will she'd been working on. The main house would go to me, obviously, but there was a trust set up that would give any future spouse of mine $350,000 when Mom passed away. $350,000. "I wanted to make sure your future wife would be taken care of," Mom explained. "I know how hard it can be to lose a parent-in-law, especially if she's been part of the family for years." I was honestly touched. Mom has always been generous, but this showed how much she'd been thinking about my future happiness. Then her expression got serious. "But after seeing how Kara responded to my health scare, I've asked Patterson to remove that provision entirely." I sat there processing this. Kara had no idea she just lost out on a massive inheritance by posting those stupid comments. "Mom, are you sure? I mean, maybe if I talk to her, Steve." Mom's voice had that courtroom edge I remembered from when I was a kid trying to lie about homework. "This isn't about punishment. It's about character. Someone who mocks a family member's health crisis publicly will never respect this family. I won't leave money to someone who doesn't respect the person who earned it." I sat there for a long moment, processing everything. "You're right," I said finally. I guess I needed to hear someone else say it out loud. I've been making excuses for her behavior for months. Mom reached over and squeezed my hand. "I'm not trying to control your relationships, honey, but I've seen enough people in my career to recognize when someone shows you who they really are. Kara showed us." I nodded, feeling a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying start to lift. We spent the rest of the afternoon just talking, about Dad, about the future, about what we both wanted my life to look like. It was the most honest conversation we'd had in years, but the whole situation still felt surreal somehow. I kept thinking about how Kara lost a life-changing amount of money because she couldn't keep her mouth shut on social media. Here's where it gets really complicated. That evening, Kara called me all excited about something. Apparently her aunt died last week and left her about $15,000. Not a huge amount, but Kara was treating it like she'd won the lottery. "This is just the beginning," she said. "Once we're married and your mom, will be set for life. I've been researching what retired lawyers usually have saved up. We could buy a house, travel, maybe start a business." I felt sick. She was literally planning for my mother's death and talking about it like a business opportunity. I asked her what she meant. "Come on, Steve. Your mom's in her 60s. She just had that health thing, and she obviously loves you. I've been nice to her for 3 years. That has to be worth something, right? Old ladies always leave money to the daughter-in-law." I told her that was a pretty cold way to think about my mom. "I'm being practical," she said. "It's not like I want anything bad to happen, but we should be smart about our future. She's probably got at least $500,000 saved up, maybe more." I couldn't sleep that night. Kara was already spending money that didn't belong to her and discussing my mom's death like it was a business plan. Combined with the social media posts, I realized I was dating someone I didn't actually know. The next morning, I started looking at apartments. I haven't told Kara about any of this yet. She still thinks everything is fine between us, and she has no idea about the will or the money she'll never see. Part of me is curious about how this will play out when I finally end things. For now, I'm just trying to process how someone I thought I knew could be so different from who I believed they were. 3 years of my life with someone who sees my mom as a future payday and thinks health scares are worth mocking for social media attention. Thanks again for all the support, Reddit. Sometimes you need strangers on the internet to help you see what's right in front of you. I'll update when I figure out how to handle the breakup conversation. Update 2. Posted 1 week later. I thought I was ready for the drama when I decided to break up with Kara, but this woman has exceeded every possible expectation for how to handle rejection badly. So I found an apartment across town and signed the lease last week. Then I planned what I thought would be a straightforward breakup conversation. I was wrong about the straightforward part. Saturday morning, I went to Kara's place with a box of her stuff she'd left at my apartment. I told her we needed to talk about where our relationship was going. Actually, she said, grinning like she was about to deliver good news, I've been thinking about that too. With my inheritance from Aunt Marie, I think we should start planning our engagement. I was thinking we could put a down payment on a house, maybe in your mom's neighborhood, so we can keep an eye on her as she gets older. The way she said keep an eye on her made my skin crawl, like Mom was an investment that needed monitoring. I took a deep breath and told her that her social media posts about Mom had made me reconsider our relationship. I explained how hurtful it was to see her mock my mom's health scare while I was in the hospital, worried she might have had a stroke. Kara's response: "Oh my God, Steve, it was just social media. It's not that deep. Your mom is fine, isn't she? I was just frustrated that you canceled our plans." I told her that wasn't the point. The point was how she handled private family business by making it public, and how she talked about my mom like she was being dramatic. "Look," Kara said, "I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt, but you have to understand my perspective too. We're supposed to be building a life together. I'm supposed to be your partner, and you dropped me the second your mom called. That doesn't make me feel very secure." I tried to explain that family emergencies take priority, but she cut me off. "This is exactly what I mean. It's like you're married to your mom instead of committed to me. When we're married, I need to know I come first." That's when I realized we lived in completely different worlds. I told her that my future wife would need to understand that I'll always be there for my mom, and that anyone who had a problem with that wasn't the right person for me. "Fine," she said, "but don't expect me to pretend this is all my fault. You're a mama's boy who can't prioritize his adult relationship. Good luck finding someone willing to tolerate that like I do." But when I actually stood up to leave, accepting the breakup, she suddenly changed her tone. Wait, she said. "Wait, I didn't mean that. Steve, think about this logically. You're going to throw away our whole future over some social media drama. Look, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but breaking up would be stupid. We're building something together here." I turned back to look at her, confused by the sudden shift. "I mean, think about our financial future," she continued. "Between my inheritance and what your mom will leave me when we get married, we could have a really comfortable life. It would be crazy to give that up over something so small." I stopped at the door. "What exactly do you think my mom is leaving you?" "Well, we've been together 3 years and I've been nothing but nice to her. Daughter-in-laws always get something substantial. I'm thinking at least $300,000, probably more." I turned around and looked at her. She was completely serious. "Kara, even if we do get married, you're not getting anything from my mom," she laughed. "Of course I am. That's how these things work. Your mom loves me." "No," I said. "I mean legally, you're getting nothing. She had her will updated after your social media posts. The money that was going to go to my future wife. She's donating it to cancer research instead." I have never seen someone's face change so fast. The color drained out of her cheeks and her mouth fell open. "You're lying." I pulled out my phone and showed her the email Mom had forwarded me from Patterson confirming the changes to her estate. $350,000, I said. "That's what you lost when you decided to mock my mom online." What happened next was intense. Kara started screaming about how that money should be hers, how she'd invested 3 years in our relationship, how my mom was a vindictive old bitch for changing her will. I left while she was still yelling. I'm moving into my new place this weekend. For the first time in months, I'm actually looking forward to the quiet. No more wondering what private moment is going to become public content. No more apologizing for having a close relationship with my mom. But apparently, I was just getting started with the drama. Sunday morning, Kara posted a long Facebook rant about our breakup. She painted herself as the victim of my controlling mother and claimed that Mom had manipulated me into choosing family over my relationship. The post got dozens of comments from her friends and family. Most were supportive of her, talking about red flags and mama's boys. But a few people who knew my mom commented with confusion, asking what had actually happened. That's when Kara made her biggest mistake yet. She replied to one comment with, "His mom literally changed her will to cut me out because I posted about being disappointed that he canceled our date. Apparently, I'm not allowed to have feelings about my own relationship." She was presenting herself as the victim of an unreasonable old woman who cut her out of a will over having feelings. What she didn't realize was that Mom has a lot of friends on social media, and they screenshot everything. I have a feeling this isn't over yet. I'll keep you guys updated if anything else crazy happens. Final update, posted 2 weeks later. So Kara has actually managed to turn this into a full-blown social media war that's gotten completely out of hand. After our breakup, Kara's Facebook post about being cut out of the will for having feelings started getting shared around. Her friends were posting about how terrible my mom was for punishing Kara over a relationship disagreement. What Kara didn't know was that my mom's friend Betty had screenshots of all her original posts, the ones where Kara called Mom dramatic and attention-seeking during her health scare. Betty shared these screenshots with other friends, and they started spreading them alongside Kara's victim narrative. So people could see both sides, Kara's claims about being unfairly treated and the actual posts where she mocked my mom's health crisis. I honestly didn't know whether to laugh or feel bad for Kara. She'd turned a private family issue into a public spectacle, and now it was spiraling beyond anyone's control. But Kara wasn't done. Last Tuesday, she showed up at my new apartment with an envelope. Inside was a letter from some attorney demanding that my mom reinstate her in the will because she had relied on the expectation of inheritance when making life decisions during our relationship. I called Mom immediately. She laughed so hard I thought she might actually have a health episode. "Patterson's going to love this," she said. "This girl thinks she can sue her way into an inheritance." Apparently, the lawyer Kara hired was some guy who advertises on late-night TV. Patterson called him directly and explained that Kara never had any legal right to expect an inheritance and that threatening litigation over a will change was borderline harassment. The TV lawyer dropped her case immediately. But this is where the story gets really crazy. Last weekend, Mom asked if I wanted to have lunch and clear the air publicly. I thought she meant we'd go somewhere nice and talk. Instead, she'd arranged to appear on the local morning news show. Turns out one of her old colleagues works there, and Mom had pitched a segment about social media and family relationships. The host introduced her as a local attorney discussing how online behavior affects real-world consequences. Mom came prepared. She had printed copies of Kara's original posts, her breakup rant, and the legal threat. She explained the whole situation clearly and calmly, how Kara had mocked her health scare online, how this led to the will change, and how Kara was now trying to sue for money she never had any right to. "This young woman made our family crisis into her personal drama," Mom said on air. "She showed no compassion for my health concerns and instead used them to get sympathy online. When she discovered there were financial consequences for her choices, she tried to weaponize the legal system." The host asked what message Mom wanted to send to other families dealing with similar issues. "Your private pain is not someone else's content," Mom said. "And if someone you love treats your family with public disrespect, believe them the first time." Then, Mom announced that the $350,000 she'd originally planned to leave for my future wife would be donated to the American Cancer Society in memory of my dad. The segment went viral locally. By Monday, it had been shared thousands of times, and people were commenting about their own experiences with partners who aired private business on social media. Kara, naturally, did not take this well. She started a GoFundMe claiming she was being harassed and defamed by my mom's media campaign and needed money to fight back legally. She was asking for $50,000 for legal fees and emotional damages. The GoFundMe lasted exactly 3 days before someone reported it for fraud, and it got taken down. Turns out you can't crowdfund revenge lawsuits based on losing out on inheritance money you never actually had. During those 3 days, though, Kara had started online dating again. She matched with some guy named Rodrigo who apparently has money. She was posting pictures of expensive dinners and talking about her new beginning with someone who values her. Rodrigo must have Googled her name, because by Friday, Kara was posting angry stuff about people stalking her online and ruining her chances at happiness. My guess is he found the news segment and all the social media drama and decided she wasn't worth the trouble. As of this weekend, Kara has deleted most of her social media accounts. According to mutual friends, she's moved back in with her parents and is working at a retail job. Apparently, several job interviews went south when employers found the news segment during background checks. Meanwhile, my life has gotten significantly better. I'm dating someone new, Rebecca, who works at the animal hospital where I take my dog. When I told her about my mom's health scare, we were talking about family. Her first question was whether mom was okay and if there was anything she could do to help. Last week, Rebecca brought soup when mom was feeling under the weather with a cold. No drama, no social media posts about it, just simple human kindness. Mom updated her will again last month. Rebecca's not in it, way too early for that, but there's now a provision that any future grandchildren will have education funds set up for them. The cancer research donation is staying exactly as planned. Looking back, I realize how many red flags I ignored with Kara. The social media oversharing, the focus on money and appearances, the way she talked about people when they weren't around. I thought I was being understanding and patient, but really I was just enabling someone who didn't share my values. The weirdest part is that Kara probably could have inherited that money if she just kept her mouth shut online. One Facebook post cost her $350,000 and her relationship. That's got to be some kind of record for expensive social media mistakes. The moral of the story: don't date someone who treats your family like content for their followers. And definitely don't mock someone's health scare if you're expecting to inherit their money. Also, never underestimate a retired lawyer who's pissed off. My mom is 64 years old and she absolutely destroyed someone half her age without breaking a sweat or saying a single cruel word. It was honestly impressive to watch. Thanks to everyone who commented on my original posts. You guys helped me see clearly when I was too close to the situation. Sometimes you need outside perspective to realize how crazy your normal has become. Edit. A few people have asked about Rebecca. We're taking things slow, but she's amazing. She's met my mom twice now, and they genuinely like each other. No forced bonding, no strategic niceness, just two good people who both care about me. It's refreshing to date someone whose first instinct isn't to post about our relationship online. For those asking, yes, Mom still does legal consulting. She's semi-retired but takes on cases that interest her. Patterson says she's been getting calls about social media and estate planning issues since the news segment